Have you ever made an error?
all the time.
But 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 we don't let it linger, right?
Define
We have
us.
to we have to flush it and
Yeah,
move on. And sooner or later, we're going to get that home run. So I want
I can't think of one, but I know there. I know they're there, but I can't think right now.
I
What?
I think just in general, because I think there's some things in my life that, some things you share, some things, you may not want to, but I think sometimes in retrospect, you can kind of look at things in your life that were difficult. And then once you kind of get through it, because you think that maybe God kind of left you, and then looking back, you think he was really with you all the time. But sometimes it takes going through a trauma to kind of realize that. So
I
I
could
don't,
I could
yeah,
say well, every day I would brush after breakfast because I had to go to the pharmacy right away. I would go to the chapel and pray that I do not make any mistakes in the pharmacy because I know my work would be life-threatening if I
yeah,
did anything wrong or if I had made any errors in pharmacy. It wouldn't be like an ordinary mistake you make. It would be it would be something very serious. So I would pray, please, dear Lord, don't let me make any mistakes in working today. So I pray every morning before I started my work.
and I can think of moments in your life where God has redeemed it later. I mean, all of the people that you've touched and
right.
and came to your going away party and had wonderful words to speak about you. Those are all moments that you've seen God redeem later. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I can even think of people in my life that maybe I've only had an encounter with them once or twice, but it just seemed like God put them there at that time for a reason. And I think sometimes in retrospect, sometimes you think maybe you were there for a person at that time too. So I can even think of things with kids at school because I think sometimes when you're in school, yeah, it can be hard growing up. And sometimes you think of things that you went through. And I know, like with me as a teacher, I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly, but because I can think of things that I didn't want students that I had, or my kids for that matter, to go through things that I did. So, I was trying to approach them as like basically how can I help them through a situation? I mean, for example, like kids at school, they'll get bullied. I was bullied pretty bad in school and it was pretty rough. And you get older and you see things, but when you're, 10, 12 years old, you're not always equipped to deal with all this. But when I see it in school, I don't want to see that repeat.
Well, I guess I've had lots of errors in the sixth inning where maybe I've offended somebody, and um, I don't think one sticks out in particular, but lots of them, right? I think
We
maybe
all do.
maybe I've offended Cindy even this year in some way. But all in all, I would say I see God's redemption, and I know that these moments where I've offended people won't last. Okay, that's the way I'm going to reply to that question. I think, Linda, you've already kind of replied to it. Is that right?
Yeah, I
So,
think so. And certainly, we've all made mistakes. Certainly, I've made enough of them. And I think the other thing that I was going to say is that basically, when you feel like you have offended somebody, and obviously that's always kind of hard to deal with, but when you're given the opportunity to redeem yourself as best as you can, so maybe whether it's talking to that person or trying to kind of make things right if you can. So, you can kind of see God in those moments too. And we've all had plenty of those. So,
okay, well, thank you.